Uncle Bongs Podcast. Authentic, reliable, relatable, and controversial. It's all about lifestyle.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself,
Wow. My name is Bongani NX. Uncle Bongs. The podcast is finally here. You are not trained to be a husband. Now you are a divorced man with two different families.
For sure. One, you are still figuring out how to be a good father. Now, on top of figuring it out, you divorce. You fall in love again. Now you must be a father not only to your kids, but to the kids of the woman you just met.
Uncle Bongs Podcast. Talk to me about where your life story begins, where you see this negativity going on and destroying and bringing your life down, and how you really yank yourself out.
Okay, well, I suppose it was early 20s. I got into alcohol abuse. It was about probably 10 years of drinking, party during the week because there were more days to party. The problem actually was highlighted when I had my car accident, and that was the wake-up call that I probably needed.
You had a car accident.
Yeah, I had been drinking for about 12 hours.
When? How many kids you got? I don't know.
Let's look at this woman. She grew up in the family where there's present father, present mother. And when she grew up, psychologically says that every woman is looking for a father in a man.
Oh, that's why they end up calling you daddy. Who's your daddy? Uncle Bongs Podcast. Talk to me about scripture.
Before I get to the scripture, I think we need to understand, I think Miles Monroe, for me, those two books, Understanding the Purpose of a Man and Understanding the Purpose of a Woman.
Right.
Anybody, whether you're married or want to get married, you should read both books.
Kunle put it so beautifully.
So we're talking about the fact that when you want to go into marriage, you need to make sure that you understand your role.
Uncle Bongs Podcast.
You remember when God came and asked the head of the family, what happened? Do you know what was that first response? Instead of saying I messed up, he said, this woman that you gave should pass the buck. Yes.
Uncle Bongs Podcast.
Marriage comes with a lot of aspects. Number one, you have to build relationship with your stepkid. You have to build relationship with your extended family. You have to remember, even the stepkids, some of them are hoping that their parents might reconcile.
It's all about lifestyle.
my sins were higher than the mountain, and the Lord sanctified me. My sins were higher than a mountain, when the Lord sanctified me. Oh, singing glory, hallelujah,
Sitting with this young lady, fabulous energy, Nolette Lloyd.
Hello, Bongani.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes. Coffee time,
Coffee time?
fireside stories.
Cool.
So welcome. This is a beautiful house. I'll tell you a little story about this house. The old pastori, the old pastor, lived here. And this house apparently has become now a heritage site. It was built in 1885.
Amazing.
And what you would know is that I'm not allowed to touch it up. I'm a touch-up guy. I always see something wrong. Everywhere, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm looking for something to fix. I'm a fixer. If I look at someone, I look at a house. Every time I buy a house, I would want to just fix it. So, welcome to my podcast. Welcome to this old
Thank
pastor's
you.
house. How beautiful is this house?
Beautiful.
Yes, Nolette Lloyd. She's an entrepreneur from Hartbeespoort. You want to buy a house, this is the young lady you want to talk to. Talk to me about this Hartbeespoort picturesque environment that we live in here.
Hartbeespoort is more than, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. You have beautiful homes in gated estates, lifestyle estates. You know, we live on the dam. We have the mountains in the background. There's lots to do here. It's actually a it's actually a tourist destination.
Definitely.
But it's becoming more and more a residential, a place to live, because people
Yeah.
want the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, especially after our recent COVID
Yeah.
setup, where people were locked in, they realized that if they moved out towards the dam and the mountains, they could live the lifestyle.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What brought you here?
What brought me here was I'd recently got married, and we were living in Johannesburg.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were only married for a month, and my husband and I decided to come and visit a friend who couldn't make it to our wedding. And we drove into the Coves, which is just further down the road. And to my surprise, a little aeroplane crossed over the road, and it taxied into the hangar that was next door to the house.
You are kidding.
I'm serious.
Taxi,
so-
hangar. What?
So your hangar is parked next to your kitchen sink.
Oh, wow. The Coves, man, they've got a landing strip there.
They've got an airstrip there with lots of aviation, people living there, and part of my life was 15 years of my life was in aviation.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a wow, you know. And so we were surprised by what we saw,
Yes.
and ended up purchasing a townhouse here.
Yeah.
At the time, it was actually a miracle how we could afford it, because we'd both lost everything.
Yeah.
So we ended up in a townhouse, and we've been here since 2012. Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You would have experienced another holiday destination. You're from the Durban area. So how does it feel to move from one holiday destination to another and live your lifestyle? We want to go on holiday, and you live in a holiday destination. You sell homes there. Talk to me about that.
Well, I've actually lived all over South Africa, actually. Ballito, the Cape, Durban. For me, Hartbeespoort is actually kind of the creme de la creme.
Are you kidding me?
That's my experience. I love the Cape, but I love the weather here. We've got fantastic weather here.
Yeah.
As well as the scenery and the lifestyle that goes with it.
Yes.
So, I mean, and you sell what you love. So,
Very nice. So you are selling me my next 6 million rand house. I'm loving it.
I'm ready.
All right, so Nolette, you have told me a life story that blew my mind, how you survived through that, and how you really kept standing, and where you really saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Talk to me about where your life story begins, where you see this negativity going on and destroying and bringing your life down, and how you really yank yourself out of it. You know, that story is amazing. If you could start there where you were in aviation and you were obviously younger years and careless, you know, talk to me about that.
Okay, well, I suppose it was early 20s. I got into alcohol abuse.
Right.
And a lot of, it was about probably 10 years of drinking, partying. We used to party during the week because there were more days to party.
Yeah.
And the aviation, there also tend to be a party crowd.
Yes.
So, you know, we would party, for 10 years it was a blur.
Come on.
Yeah.
So when does it become a problem? When do you say, now, this is no party anymore? This is an issue now.
Yeah.
This has become like an alcohol abuse situation. I'm no longer enjoying this.
Yeah.
When does it begin? What rings the bell?
I guess, you know, throughout the years, I suppose initially, you know, it's fun, and like you say, you know, there's a lot of fun that goes with the party.
Yes.
I think as you know, there were times you go home and you're lonely and you don't want to be, you feel like you're in this mix of alcohol, what is the word?
So you are in a roller coaster ride. You recognize that you need a substance to befriend, and you this is an escapism for you. So it's no longer entertainment, but it's now a pill. I
guess there are issues that are maybe buried deep that you don't want to deal with, and it's easier to anesthetize them with alcohol. Mine was alcohol.
Right.
And so, you know, you bury emotions deep, but they do eventually surface.
Yes.
And when you're sober, they can haunt you, you know. You continue. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle of trying to drown out the emotions. And, you know, you want to be one of the crowd and have the fun. And yet when you're alone at home, you know, at that stage I wasn't married, but... so it was fun while you're out, but when you're alone, it's like a haunting. Yeah.
So with ladies, what I've heard a lot of young ladies say is that your whole lifestyle features alcohol the whole day. It's like when you wake up in the morning, the first drink is a red wine. When you go for coffee, there is a red wine by your side. When you are having dinner, you down it with the red wine. When you say hello to me, you hand me a glass of red wine. So at which point do you think somebody needs to say, no, this is getting to become a problem now. I can't stop anymore. When did you realize that for yourself?
I remember going for an interview, and the guy, he was actually quite forthright, and he actually said to me something about my alcohol problem. Was like, I don't have a problem, you know. And I don't know how he knew. He must have had some sort of insight. And I did sort of take a double step, think about it.
Yes.
And then for me, after the problem actually was highlighted when I had my car accident.
Yes.
And that was the wake-up call that I probably needed.
You had a car accident?
Yeah, I had been drinking for about 12 hours.
Talk to me about that. What happened? Why were you suicidal? That was suicidal, man.
Well, it wasn't intentional, but...
yes.
I went to... so a friend and myself went out to lunch.
Right.
And we started... with the red wine or white wine, it didn't matter.
Wine.
And so that was about 11 o'clock.
Yes.
That night, after we'd nearly set her boyfriend's house on fire with cooking pasta, you know, we've got to add water, I don't know, anyway, more wine, and eventually at about 11 that night, I made my way home again.
Yes.
But I went down a road. I don't know if I should mention it, but anyway, here we are in Joburg.
Yeah.
And it's a dark road, you know, come round the corner and there was an accident all over the road, right across the road.
So you were driving, approaching this accident?
I didn't see it until the last minute. So
you come flying around the corner and you are intoxicated. And obviously there's this pile up of other cars, ambulances on the scene.
Yeah.
Police on the scene, traffic officers, probably injured people holding their ears, falling around. And you come flying around the corner. What happens there?
So I slammed on my brakes and my wheels locked. And I drove into the accident. So I skidded into the accident. Yeah.
Wow. And then?
It wasn't funny at the time. But yeah, so I hit one of the cops who landed on my bonnet into my windscreen.
Wow!
And then I hit the ambulance.
Mamma mia.
So I was in big trouble.
When do you sober up now? At this point?
Well, I felt pretty sober then, but I know I wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I really congratulate you for having the guts to come forward and want to talk about the scourge of alcohol abuse. I do believe that a lot of people don't know that they are abusing alcohol until they are in that kind of an accident. So here is the problem. So do you want to walk me through your realization of your what you would have referred to as an irresponsible behavior that has landed you in this car accident? So then what do you do then when you realize there's a problem attached to my behavior?
So, it is a real wake-up call when you now sober and you're the next day and you've got a hangover and
Yes.
the realities hit in. And, although the interesting thing is that I actually didn't stop drinking. I stopped driving.
Oh my goodness.
It took a
So
year.
You
It took a
replaced,
year.
Yeah. Wow.
It took a year before I actually stopped drinking.
Okay.
So, but, in my instance, I feel it had to be a God intervention.
Yes.
I did have to face the consequences of my actions,
Yes.
and had to go and appear in court and the process, and then bit by bit, I suppose you want to stop,
Yes.
but you don't know always how to, and you think you can manage. So
Yeah.
for two weeks, I wouldn't have alcohol, and then I would maybe have one, which would turn into another 2-week
Eesh.
binge, it sort of thing. So it was a roller coaster for the next year.
Yes.
And then really, my heart cry to God was, I don't want to do this anymore. And I ended up having, by the end of that year, 98, I think it was,
Yes.
I actually had a dream where God intervened in my dream.
Right.
And that is the thing that actually ultimately broke the bondage
Oh, I
from
see.
the addiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it guilt or was it a true repentance of realizing a turnaround time?
Look, I think, there are obviously reasons why people want to anesthetize certain things. That may be another whole conversation for another day. But the thing is, when you stop the alcohol,
Yeah.
you have to deal with the issues.
Yeah.
So, I ended up going for counseling.
Yes.
I went to therapy, worked through issues,
Yeah.
to become whole inside, and a process of with my relationship with God.
Fantastic.
So it was a process. I think at the end of the day, it's one thing to stop, but it's why it's identifying why you want to anesthetize. I guess you have to
Yeah.
get to that point, and only real complete healing does. I guess for me it was a healing process
Yeah.
that ultimately, but that's
So-
now 25 years ago.
Yeah, I get it. I think you can actually stop at some point and then, revert right back, fall right back. But one last question in this segment before I take a little break here. I just want to know if a young lady like you is going through a process, anesthetizing, you call it. How does she know that I'm now in a problem area? I'm no longer enjoying alcohol, but alcohol is now my pill, my penicillin. What are the symptoms? What do you think she should look out for that made you realize that I'm deep into this thing, man? Yeah.
When you are drunk, you don't really process those thoughts. It's when you're sober.
Wow.
So it's only, when you're sober the next day, you're aware of the emotions,
Yeah.
and it's to identify those emotions,
Right.
because that's, the cycle is there to continue to drink.
Right.
But I guess, when you're having fun and you are in the motion of drinking,
Yes.
you don't really think about why.
Yes.
Because now your faculties are blurred.
Yes. Yes.
So it's to identify that when you're sober. If that, if you can enjoy a glass of wine,
Right.
like my husband will enjoy a glass of wine, I'll even pour it for him. He can enjoy it, and that's it. So his emotions are still stable.
One glass of wine.
Or two. you know.
You
But
know, with me, I think I've found that is a little bit of a problem. That's why I stopped drinking. I made a conscious decision to say I'm going to stop. I've done it twice now. I came back and I stopped. Now this is the third time where I consciously said, I cannot drink one glass of wine. I need a second and a third. And once I'm on the third, the fourth one is coming. Before I know it, I'm actually on the third bottle. So I understand exactly where you are coming from when you say, if there are two problems. With me, I'm saying I'm socializing through drinking, but for you, it gets to a point where you're surviving. Yes, alcohol is now a survival thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think, you see, the thing is, it is like that, but most of the time you are in denial.
Yes.
A lot of the time, should I say. You are in denial when you don't want to face that you have a problem. So sometimes, in my case, I had to have some radical intervention.
Yes.
To actually go, oh, I need to really look at this.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, let's take a little break and keep that thought about the God factor, because for me, that is the key. You see, if one is in a mode where they are feeling guilty, but there's no source higher than them that is going to make them make that relevant turn, it's going to be very difficult to stop.
For sure.
You agree?
Totally.
Right. Hold that thought, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. We were on that subject of the God factor. Right. Yeah. So I need you to unpack it for me, for someone to understand the importance of the God factor in your life as you were unpacking it. You know, just give me the scope of what happens in your mind. How do you hit that low bottom end where you feel like now you need to come up? You need help.
Okay, I guess for me, you know, I was born in a Christian home.
Right.
I was brought up in a Christian home. But you know, the important thing for my relationship now is about relationship with God. So, you know, I was doing all the right things, so to speak.
Right.
And then went totally off the rails, okay? Obviously.
Doing all the right things the wrong way.
Yes, yeah, I guess so. And then,
Yes.
you know, off the rails, alcohol abuse for 10 years. But in that time, God was, he actually pursued me in terms of a deep yearning.
Yes.
You know, there was something that was empty. There was a hole in my heart. And then through dreams, actually, he revealed a presence, his love.
Oh, wow.
And
So you're a dreamer. You dream dreams.
I do dream. I dream. There are dreams and there are spiritual dreams.
Oh, nice.
And so I've had a few of those dreams where God has revealed himself or his presence, and you know, where you can tangibly feel the
Yes.
love. And you know, sometimes we don't feel like we are worthy. We don't feel like we are worthy of God's love, and we
Yes.
run away from it. We hide. We don't think that, why would he be interested in me?
Oh, wow.
And I guess for lots of reasons. For, you know, we don't think, you know, we
So
think,
you
we
thought
look
you
at
were too much of a sinner. He cannot be interested in you.
possibly.
Okay, so basically now you have a conscious moment of abuse, and you now hate this entertainer thing. It's now a substance. And are you going to church at all at this time?
I was, although it was difficult, because it was difficult to try and fit in with church and leave the world, so to speak. The world,
yeah.
you know, the bars. And so there's like a middle.
Yes. Lot.
There's
You were
middle.
Lot.
I was in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's difficult because you don't feel like you connect with the people in church necessarily. And you know that you can't carry on with a lifestyle in the bars and the circle of friends that hang around the drinking scenario.
Wow.
So there's a no man's land, if I can put it like that. There's a limbo between one. It's a transition.
Wow.
And you kind of have to persevere to connect with, and you don't quite feel worthy, you know. So there's a dilemma. I guess there is. It's a process.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, God faithfully kept drawing me to Himself.
So what was He saying to you, God? What stood out for you?
Well, I think initially it was, you know, through the dreams and understanding, you know, when you like experience a love in your heart, it most of it was happening in my sleep, okay?
All right.
But you experience that kind of love. It's a love that is beyond our imagination.
Right.
And then I started journaling. I started writing in my journal.
Ah, fantastic. Yes.
And although I was still drinking at the time, my journal was becoming like a
talk to you,
a talk to God, and I would also then want to hear from Him. So I had a deep yearning to hear His voice and to see what He wanted for my life. So my journal, sometimes I would write, and then if I felt He would say something, I would write that in.
Yes.
And then often when you look back,
Yes.
you can actually see the pattern of the conversation.
How was your prayer life at that time?
So, well, that was it. It was conversation with God. That,
So
you know, it's
that you took as your...
that was my prayer life, I guess. You know,
Right.
writing in the journal, because you're writing your thoughts to God. You're waiting for Him to answer. Sometimes I would sit and wait, and you know,
Did He
quiet in my heart.
reciprocate that love that you love letters to God? That's
Yeah,
the
well,
name of your
there's
book. Love Letters to God. When are you launching that book?
Well, it's in process.
Yeah.
I have actually started writing.
Yes. Check this
But,
out. It was announced on Uncle Bongs' podcast on this day, the 1st of February, 2023. Nolette Lloyd's Conversations with God. Love Letters to God. You agree?
Maybe they're love letters from God.
There you go. If he
Yeah.
reciprocated, but because
Yeah.
you did, He spoke to
Well-
you and you answered. You came back.
You know, we actually only come to God because He came to us.
Yeah.
We don't make the first step. He made the first step.
Oh wow.
So He's not reciprocating to me, but He, you know, in my calling out to Him, He answered. But I
Wow.
think He was drawing me to Him.
Yes.
You know, that's what He does. He draws us
Yes.
to Himself.
So then you stopped drinking completely.
Well, it was through the dream, where He, you know, it was a year after my accident that I actually stopped the drinking.
One year
and-
later,
Yeah, a year later.
you needed another accident. You
No, I
needed two
didn't.
more.
In that dream, though, I really do believe from God's. I mean, He basically, in my dream, His anointing
Yes.
broke the yoke of
Yes.
the bondage.
Oh wow.
And and the next day a friend poured a glass of wine for me. I took it to have a sip, and I knew instantly that I had a choice. And in that moment, I put it down. I said, no more. And that was it. I haven't craved it. I have not desired it.
Yes.
So it was an instant. So I think, you know, process, healing comes bit by bit, and then
Yeah.
suddenly we get to a point. So, you know, we think God needs to heal us instantly.
But
a
you've
lot
got
of
to
the
make
time,
a choice then.
Yeah, and there's a process. So there's a
Yeah.
process of healing to a point, and then suddenly we do see the healing.
Yes.
And so I haven't looked back. I haven't
Yes.
since '98.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
So you'll never ever touch alcohol?
Yeah. that's it.
Not even as a social drink? Or...
You know, it was a decision then, and I do believe it was a permanent decision.
25
So,
years.
Yeah, something like that. 1998.
Wow.
So I don't miss it.
Wow. And your
Yeah.
husband will drink in
Yeah.
front of you. And you're
Yeah,
okay.
he will have a glass of wine or gin. I'll have all the.
Are you telling me that there was no counsel, no professional, it was just a conversation between you and God that then made you make this fundamental turnaround?
That was the fundamental turnaround. And thereafter, now that I was sober, I needed to then deal with some of the personal issues.
Yes.
You know, the personal trauma that we go through.
Yes, yes.
And then, yeah, so it was a continued process of healing. I then went to therapy, you know, Christian counselors.
Right.
So I think it is a process, you know, it's
Yes,
not just a lightning bolt and that's it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I do believe it was the initial, I had to have that kind of intervention to make a radical change.
So no friends in the picture? Where did you have alcohol friends and non-alcohol friends, Christian friends?
I think by then I'd gravitated to more church friends.
Right.
So, you know, through the no man's land.
The company
Yeah.
you keep.
You eventually become, so you have to give up some, you have to give up some
Yeah, you
lifestyle.
have to. You have
You
to.
can't keep
Yeah.
in the same company.
Very interesting. So now, when do you meet Paul now? Bring Paul in, real Paul in.
So yeah, I then started, my journal was probably about 97 that I actually started writing.
Right.
And I guess I wrote a list actually
Right.
of what I wanted in a husband. It was a very immature list, but nevertheless,
It was always going to go there.
It was like, my husband needs to be maybe 2 years older than me. He needs to be a head taller than me. It was an immature list, but interestingly, Paul actually fits that whole list.
I'm going to put Paul's picture up, and racing snake Paul, thin, dark and handsome, tall, everything. So you put every spec.
Well, I had, like I say, and he needs to be well read. He must like classical music, that sort of thing.
So I never would have made it there.
No, not you, Bongs.
No classical
As much as I
music.
love you, but yeah,
what
interestingly,
a boring guy.
he
What
had
a boring guy. Classic music, Nolette. Come on.
Yeah, but
Wow.
he and all of them tick the box. It is amazing.
He fit the profile.
He fit the profile. Wow. But I had to wait, and that was the thing. About 2 years after writing my list,
Right.
I actually felt God say to me that you need to trust me for your husband.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, all gung-ho about that. That was great, And then about 2 weeks later, writing in my journal, I had a sense that God was saying, if my call on your life means that you don't get married,
Right.
what is your answer?
Oh, wow.
So I had to think about it because I really did want to get married. And after much thought, I said, okay, I will give it up. I will give up the marriage as long as, if the call on my life means that I give it up, then you must work in my life in dimensions that are far beyond my imagination. So that was my sort of prerequisite.
Wow.
And then I felt God actually, this desire to get married got stronger and stronger.
Right.
And I actually felt him giving it back to me, So, but that was 99.
Yes.
And I met Paul in 2010.
Yeah, so you can pretty much pick it up from where you have journaled and you've ticked all the boxes, and this is the guy you want. And what happens from there?
Okay, so, in the process of getting to the decision of giving it up, giving up the idea of getting married,
Right.
I then felt God actually, I actually felt it was a promise from him that it would happen, but I didn't know when it was going to happen.
Wow.
And then it was a process of waiting. So, for years, there were potential possibilities, but
Yeah, but that's what I'm about
nothing-
to ask you, to say you are dating at this time, and all these boyfriends, suitors, if you like, come along, and how do you know this one is not the one? That's why.
Yeah.
What
Well,
was your criteria?
Okay, so I wouldn't go into a date with I wouldn't date in the sense of, how do you put it? I would
a love
I
affair.
would just I would actually, in my conversations with God, I would go, what about this one? And
Yes.
I would either get a sense, not wait,
Yes.
So when there was anybody that I thought would be a potential I would, what about this one?
So did you
And-
have a
and I had-
boundary to say, okay,
No, well, it was the sense,
first
you know,
base, second base, third base, he won't go to third base.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, we didn't get to first base. No, I guess, you have
Nice.
conversation, you meet somebody and yeah, there was quite a firm boundary.
Yes.
But, along the way, you meet, you have a conversation, you become friends.
Yes.
And in that process, I would be constantly saying, well, God, what about this
Yes.
one? He's quite nice. And I'd either get a wait or no wait.
Yes.
I mean, the wait was the most of the answer.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think, sure, I'd waited and waited for quite a few years, nearly 10 years at that stage. When I got to the point where I said, I don't want this anymore. I even said to, I was working in a boutique that one Sunday, and I said to God, you can have this one back.
Wow.
I don't actually want this anymore. I think I'd got, your heart grows sick of waiting.
yeah.
It even talks about that.
Waiting fatigue.
What does it say in Proverbs? It talks about
Yes.
the heart grows sick for waiting. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the inside, I was obviously crying big tears. And I was like, okay, God, take this away. Just take
Right.
the desire away. I don't want it anymore.
Oh, wow.
And while I was in the boutique shop, a lady walked past the shop, did a U-turn and came in. And she basically had a word from God saying, though nothing looks like it's happening,
Yes.
something is happening. And
She
by
just
then-
said that to you?
She just said that, and I said, how did you know? And she said, is it for a husband? By then I was beside myself.
Wow.
And she literally came to encourage me. It was a stranger that was walking past the shop. It was the most amazing, because I had given up hope. And God knew that I was at a low point
Yes.
in terms of waiting for the promise.
Yes.
And he sent a stranger. It's like he can find us anywhere.
Yeah.
And he can talk to us when we feel at the lowest of our journey.
Yeah, but what did you think was your relationship with God at the time? Did you trust Him? Were you really into the whole thicket of being a Christian? And
I was I was, because everything in my life now revolves around who He is and what He's done in my life.
right.
And if I'm happy to give up that, as long as I've got, at the end of the day, God is everything to us.
Yes.
When you're at that point, everything else is additional.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I was journaling a lot, but I knew I had this promise. I still had that desire for that promise to be fulfilled.
yes.
And I think that was the edge. In some ways I was giving up on the promise myself.
That's amazing.
But God still had plans to fulfill, the promise.
When I first met you, you looked so much like an ex-colleague of mine, Samantha Cowan.
Oh, yes.
And she wrote a book in a similar situation as yours, but hers was Waiting for Christopher,
Waiting for Christopher.
her son. So she named the child long before he was even conceived. And then she waited for him.
Sure.
And then she fell pregnant.
Amazing.
Her story is
Yeah,
quite
yeah, yeah.
amazing.
I
It's
must
a
read that
story
book.
for another day. But that's like, I want to wait for your book now. Because I know there's more to your story than what you can let out now in this small little environment of ours. But what's your big lesson here? What was your take home here?
For me, it's about the answer and the promise fulfilled,
Right.
where God was faithful to His promise. But
Oh,
that,
wow.
the promise is always tested. And, the promise fulfilled is actually a tree of life.
Right.
And that was, there's hope in trusting. It is trusting God to provide the one that He has decided.
Yeah.
not my decision.
I'm going to give you 2 minutes. You can hit me with your survival scriptures. Let's see how far you can go.
My survival
You are a
scriptures.
survivor. You've been hit with punches left, right, and center, Nolette.
Yeah.
and you are a child of God. You are a child of Zion. So hit me. Let's see how far you can go with 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Okay, so one of my favorite ones is Jeremiah 29, verse 11,
Right.
which is for, I know the plans I have for you, God says. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you.
Wow.
Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me, and
Yes.
I will answer. The other one is
That's one.
Proverbs. I can't remember the exact reference, but it is about... I've lost it now.
So one. Okay. So
Yeah.
in there, how many verses are there? There's 3, 4 verses. I'm gonna count them.
Oh, you...
Yeah. Then I'll put them up there. So you've given me 4 verses. If you give me one more, then you win this competition.
Oh. Yeah, and then the other one is Romans 8:28.
Yes.
For all things work together for good for those who love Christ and are called according to his purpose.
Wow. So in your life, wrap it up for me and tell me in a nutshell, where do you fit Romans 8:28? All things work together for those who love the Lord and that the Lord has chosen for his purpose.
Well, in all the circumstances when it doesn't look good, when, you know, the car accident, the various... I mean, there's a whole business side of the story that I can't go into now, but when things don't look like they are going well,
Yes.
you know, you have to believe that God will take every circumstance
Right.
and he can turn it into something for good purpose,
Right.
for our lives, for ourselves. He's more interested in our character.
Oh, fantastic.
So he will use all the difficulties, the challenges. There have been a lot of challenges.
Wonderful.
But those, so that has been one of the big verses that has
Yes.
encouraged, should I
So
say,
you feel,
through difficult
do
times.
you feel victorious? Do you feel he has answered your problems? Do you feel connected?
Totally. But it's not to say that we won't face challenges along the way. There's always
For sure.
challenges, you know,
Yes.
there's always something that will come along. And I guess you get to a point where when you understand God's ways
Yes.
and how we process it.
Yeah.
But it's not to say, I mean, we can be fallible.
For
You know,
sure.
we have to, I mean, God is my lifeline. He is
Yes.
everything that, it's only through him that we can be at this point.
Yeah, you know what? I always say that you know, we are all broken here. We're all looking for Jesus Christ to fix us. You know, you can never do it on your own. I think as you rightly articulate that it wasn't your own strength or your own doing. There was a conversation with God. That's quite amazing. I think there's more to your story than you are letting out.
We don't have time.
We never have time.
Yeah.
So, you know, time flies when you are having fun. Thank you so much for coming on to Uncle
Thank
Bongs.
you.
Thank you so much for telling your story. It's not easy to tell a story such as this because you're putting your reputation on the line. But what you don't understand is there's a Christian out there who has a struggle with alcohol and they don't know how to stop. They don't know where to start. They really don't enjoy drinking anymore, but now they have to. So in closing, Nolette, just give me one wrap of what would you say to someone like that? Just motivate them a little bit, my sister. Even with prayer, with scripture, what do you want them to know?
Well, it's to find somebody who you can talk to,
Yes.
reach out to people who would be able to help in your close environment, because you can't do this on your own. And you know, I'm going to leave with one scripture, which is, may the God of hope
Yes.
fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, that he may fill you with his spirit and his hope.
Amen.
That's...
Amen, sister. Thank you for being so brave and tell your story. You know, you've changed so many lives. You've changed my life because I now realize that you can do it. The Jesus factor is the can-do attitude. Thank you for sharing your story. And you shall see a lot of me because I want to buy a house in Arties. You know, Nolette Lloyd, if you want to reach Nolette, we'll put her number on the screen That's if you want to secure a home in this Hartbeespoort picturesque, beautiful atmosphere, tall trees of 200 years old and even more. So, Nolette Lloyd, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
to
you.
Uncle Bongs Podcast.
Thank you.